Joining us here on the Mercedes-Benz Vans phone line is a man who covers the Buffalo Bills for The Athletic here on the Rich Eisen Show. Joe Buscaglia here in his first spot on our program. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great, Rich. Longtime fan of you. I just wish we could talk for the first time under different circumstances.
Well, you know what? You're covering a team that has a chance to win the Super Bowl and has a terrific team and a terrific organization. I have a feeling you and I are going to have better circumstances under which to have conversations in future days. For the moment, what is going on with the Bills right now? Can you give me a snapshot of where things stand right around almost 3 Eastern time on the Wednesday after the Monday Nighter?
Yeah, it's a lot of it is a bit of a holding pattern for now. The team is obviously heartbroken. I mean, you know, even though they did get some good news, the team released a statement that said that there were some improvements both overnight and in the morning. So that is good. The exact details of that, no one is sharing those, and quite frankly, I don't know why they would share those, especially when things are just so fluid as it stands right now. But but the team in itself, I guess they're trying to get themselves prepped and ready for a game this Sunday. But so they scheduled a walkthrough for today. They have what I think will be a practice tomorrow, unless things change rapidly here. They have no media availability today, and I think a lot of the focus is just still totally on Damar Hamlin. I mean, just watching that all unfold firsthand. I mean, you know, it's one thing to see it on TV, even one thing to watch from binoculars from a press box like I did throughout that whole 15-minute span that just felt like time lasted forever. But it's another thing to be on the field and watching all of that happening to one of their best friends and their teammate. I mean, it's just so I feel for everybody over there. I don't know that there's any right answer of what to do, and I don't know how they're going to be able to focus on a game this Sunday, but I do know their hearts are hurting right now.
Well, one way to help focus would be to get some terrific news from the University of Cincinnati Hospital that, you know, Damar is awake and alert and getting better, but it just seems that you know, as you mentioned, this fluid situation that may not occur. Is it possible the situation is so fluid that the Bills might call the league, or have the Pagulas call the league, or whomever call the league and say Sunday's not happening, or we're not ready to do this? Is that possible? From what you might be hearing?
I mean, I think anything is possible at this point. I mean, I just getting a sense and just watching how those players were reacting to the situation real time. The thing that has been rolling through my head over the last day or so is how are they going to ask these guys to play on Sunday? I mean, it's not even like it's a Sunday to Sunday. It was a Monday night to a Sunday 1 p.m. And you know, just a few moments ago, the NFL just conducted a conference call, and one of the people that were on it was Troy Vincent, and you know, they said they hadn't really had any discussions about moving that Bills-Patriots game, which is scheduled for Sunday at 1 p.m., but that they're going to, you know, speak with the Bills and you know, they want to do what's right by them. So I would say that anything is possible if Sean McDermott, who is still obviously trying to go through it himself, or his team expresses that, hey, I just don't know how we're going to be ready. I think the NFL would be receptive. I hope the NFL would be receptive to that, based on this, you know, unprecedented situation where you know, they nearly lost one of their teammates on the field in real time. So yeah, I think it's definitely within the realm of possibilities by the end of the week.
Joe Buscaglia of The Athletic covering the Buffalo Bills here on the Rich Eisen Show. A few minutes with him in Western New York. And Zach Taylor did have a media availability earlier today and said that the conversation with the officials on the field that we saw on the ESPN broadcast between the two of them, between McDermott and Zach Taylor, that McDermott said, I need to be at the hospital with Damar. I need to be at the hospital with my player, is what he had to say. And I just want to leave that in front of you to comment on it, whatever your reporting might be or your thoughts, knowing the team as you do.
No, it's powerful. And getting to know Sean since he walked in the door in 2017, you could definitely tell that he has a deep care for the people on their team, and even the people who are on the team that leave and go elsewhere. There's a deep respect there. He's also learned a lot about how to handle those relationships over the last 5+ years, going into 6 now. And it's I don't think it's a coincidence that he had such an emotionally and personality-driven reaction to that sort of impact. And if you know Sean McDermott, you know that basically every single cell in his body is football. Like, he's constantly thinking about it. He's constantly reading and trying to figure out how to improve himself, and logging a lot of hours to do so. And in that moment, just separating life from this game, which he invests almost all his life into. I think it really goes to show what is important to him, and certainly from there. So I think he's going to listen to his locker room. I think he's going to be receptive with whatever they have to say. I don't know how any coach would react to a situation like this, but I do know that if he is going to continue down the path that I think he will, I think he will let the team kind of dictate what they want to do, and then go from there. So when I had seen Zach Taylor say that, I thought to myself, yeah, that checks out with Sean McDermott. I mean, he has his faults, we all do, but he is certainly someone who is driven to have his players excel both on the field and off, and put them in the best situation possible.
In the few minutes we have left, Joe, you covering the team, tell me about Damar. What should I know about Damar Hamlin?
Yeah, he was drafted late round guy, and they had hoped they could find a solid depth piece in him. And then once Micah Hyde went down with what was thought to be a season-ending neck injury at the time, then he was given the shot to step in. And from that point forward, the media attention on him was starting to increase, but it wasn't like he was one of the stars of the team or anything. I had a few conversations with him throughout the year, and every single time, it's just a respectful. You can tell how the players around him, just by seeing him interact with everybody, you can tell how much he's loved within that locker room, and certainly how happy people were for him when he got that opportunity to be a starter in his second season. Not really under like the best terms in terms of Micah Hyde having to suffer a neck injury to do it, but being able to get that opportunity all the same. But
in this next man up league, Joe, that we were talking about, and has received some criticism because of the return to play conversation, and how everybody's first thought when this happened was, all right, just like everything else, next man up, let's go, let's get out there, let's get ready for play, until everyone realized, no, we're not going to get ready for play here. And he was the next man up, and has been terrific in that role. He's been great, and they have certainly gravitated toward him throughout the locker room. And I thought one of the coolest stories about his rise and his close friend from younger years and his college teammate at Pitt, Dane Jackson, who's a cornerback on the team and has started almost all of the games for them this year. I mean, seeing those two just kind of riff off each other, even in the locker room, it was a treat to watch. But now Dane, and you could tell he was hurting right away. He couldn't even look when the whole thing was happening. So it was a
heart-wrenching thing to see happen in front of your eyes in those 15 minutes.
Before I let you go, then, so suss out for me again. I know you don't know. It's very rare for me to ask a question of somebody when I know your answer is going to be I don't know. But what's your best guess here? Next 24, 48, 72 for the Buffalo Bills. Joe, what do you think?
My best guess is Sean McDermott continues to listen. And that's all he really can do. And, you have a lot of guys who are going through trauma, and there's no easy way to say it other than that. And you have to allow them to process things and take the time that they need to. And because of that, I think McDermott will have a vast awareness for how his players are feeling and asking lots of questions, doing lots of listening. And then from there, if all went well at the walkthrough today and they're feeling like, they got a slight bit of good news about Damar improving, however much they want to go with that, and maybe even practice tomorrow. But if they get any sense that these guys are just not in it for a game on Sunday, then I would expect that the Bills would ask of the NFL to see if they could at least postpone it just a day or two, just something, just to give them a little bit more breathing room than 4 or 5 days.
Joe, thanks for the call. Greatly appreciate it. Let us do this another time when, as you pointed out, the circumstances are not so dire. Thanks for the time.
That sounds wonderful. Thanks so much for having me, Rich.
You bet. That's Joe Buscaglia of The Athletic, covering the Buffalo Bills here on the Rich Eisen Show.